Plant tissue culture. We all know that scientists are working in the laboratories to grow plants of desired characteristics. So this is a technique that is known as plant tissue culture, in which there is maintenance and the growth of plant cells or tissues or organs on artificial medium under controlled environmental conditions. So we are growing these plants at laboratory level. So we are not going to the farms and growing them, we are growing these plants on laboratory level. So what is going to happen? We need to have artificial medium for this, right? So that there can be efficient growth of these plants. So first of all, we need an artificial medium, and secondly, we are going to talk about the controlled environmental conditions. So when we talk about the plant cells, tissues or organs that we are going to take for the growth of the complete plantlet, that is known as explant. What do we call it as? We call it as explant. So the part of the plant that we are growing in laboratory conditions in artificial medium, that plant or that plant part is known as explant. So first of all, remember, we are providing artificial medium. Secondly, we are giving them controlled environmental conditions. So when we talk about controlled environmental conditions, they are namely three. We have nutrient medium, aseptic conditions and aeration of the tissue. When we talk about nutrient medium, means we are going to supply nutrients for their better growth. So what are those nutrients that are needed by the plants? They can be in the form of inorganic salts. These are inorganic salts can be micronutrients as well as macronutrients. They can be micronutrients as well as macronutrients. Then a carbon source. Carbon source is generally used, that is sucrose. So it is a carbon source which is used in nutrient medium. Then we have vitamins, right? Thiamine and other vitamins are used which are required for the growth of the plantlet. Then amino acids are also there. Growth regulators. Generally the growth regulators are auxins and cytokinins, and we'll also talk about the plant hormones. These plant hormones are also growth regulators. So what are the plant hormones that we use? We have auxins, cytokinins, gibberellins, abscisic acid and polyamines. So these are the plant hormones that are used so that the growth of the plantlet can be enhanced further. After this, optimum pH is maintained. That optimum pH which is maintained, it is around 5.7. So this is maintained so that the nutrient medium is made effective, which can supply all the nutrients that are required by the plant for its growth. So remember, what are the main composition parts for the nutrient medium? That is inorganic salts, carbon source, vitamins, amino acids, growth regulators, and you need to maintain optimum pH, plus you supply these plant hormones. And after this, sometimes based on the type of nutrients that are required by a particular plant, we also supply the yeast extract or some other things that can be needed for a particular plant. So it depends from the type of plant and the type of cells that are using for the growth of a particular plant. So requirements are different from one plant to the other plant, right? Next, we have aseptic conditions. Now when we talk about aseptic conditions, these aseptic conditions are very important. When we are growing the plant cells or tissues or organs on a nutrient medium, then this nutrient medium is actually rich in sugars. So when it is going to be rich in sugars, then this is going to lead to the growth of other microorganisms. So when microorganisms are going to grow, they can actually kill or cause harm to the cells or tissues or organs that are growing to form a plantlet. So aseptic conditions are maintained, means totally sterilized conditions. Sterilized means free of microorganisms. There should not be any growth of microorganisms so that the nutrient medium can be used by the plant cells, tissues or organs, or you can say the nutrient medium can be used by the explant. So remember that plant cells, tissues or organs that we use for this plant tissue culture, that is known as explant. So for the explant growth, we need to supply nutrient medium that is completely sterilized, means we need to maintain aseptic conditions, means free from microorganisms. After that, aeration of the tissue is also important. When you talk about aeration of the tissue, then we can use special shakers in which there is a possibility that there is shaking. The shaking can lead to complete or proper aeration of the tissues or the plant cells or the organs that we are culturing, right? So aeration of the tissue is also must. So remember, environmental conditions which are in controlled way means we are going to give proper nutrient medium, aseptic conditions and aeration of the tissue. We need to take care about this. So as a whole, these are the controlled environmental conditions which are basic ones that we need to understand for understanding plant tissue culture. Now when we make nutrient medium, sometimes we add a polysaccharide that we call as agar, right? Agar is actually a gelling agent, or you can say solidifying agent, which is going to solidify the nutrient medium for the growth of the plant cells, tissues or organs in it, right? So this is how plant tissue culture is there, which is actually, remember, a technique of maintaining and growing plant cells, tissues or organs, especially on artificial medium, under controlled environmental conditions. Artificial medium, because we are going to provide the medium which is going to contain these inorganic salts, carbon source, vitamins, amino acids, growth regulators, which we are going to maintain optimum pH also. A widely used medium for this is MS medium. It is MS medium, which was developed by Murasich and Scooch in 1962 for such plant tissue cultures. So MS medium is a widely used medium which is used for plant tissue cultures. Then after this, just remember that plant tissue culture has many practical applications in terms of plant biotechnology. So when we are going to form, you can say, goods or provide services in terms of plants, right, to mankind, then this all comes under plant biotechnology. So what are the practical applications of this technique that we call as plant tissue culture? First of all, it leads to rapid clonal propagation. Now I hope that you know what is a clone. A clone is a group of cells or tissues that we get from the same explant, right? Group of cells or tissues that we get from the same explant, that is called clone. So we will have rapid clonal propagation, means we can generate clones, we can have the clones which have the same genetic composition, you can say, by using this technique that we call as plant tissue culture. So it's rapid clonal propagation. Then we have soma clonal variation, the genetic variation that is there in the clones also, that is called as soma clonal variation. As I told you that the word clone means that we are going to get the group of cells or tissues from the same explant, right? So it is the rapid clonal propagation. But the amount of genetic variations that we see in these clones also, that term is this soma clonal variation. So the genetic variation that is seen in clones is soma clonal variation. So this leads to soma clonal variation also. Then we have transgenic plants. Now transgenic plants are the plants that are genetically engineered, in which the trans gene is introduced. So that are known as transgenic plants. So the trans gene that is introduced can be a gene which leads to disease resistance, right? So these transgenic plants are developed so that the desired characteristic traits can be achieved. After that, we have induction and selection of mutations. Now various mutagens are induced which are going to cause mutations. Mutations means certain changes at the genetic level. Okay, so induction and selection of mutations are there. The mutations that are beneficial, they are selected, and those explants are grown further and further, so that we can have the desired characteristic traits in those plants. Then resistance to weedicides. As I told you that these mutations which can lead to disease resistance in some cases. So the practical application of plant tissue culture is also resistance to weedicides and certain other diseases. So these are a few practical applications of plant tissue cultures. First of all, rapid clonal propagation. Now it's as it is, the word suggests, it's rapid, means it's very fast. So the clones propagate quite faster by this plant tissue culture technique. Then there is soma clonal variation. Among the clones also we see genetic variation that we call as soma clonal variation. Then the transgenic plants are there, in which the transgene is introduced by genetic engineering so that the desired characteristic trait can be obtained. Then induction and selection of mutations. Mutagens cause mutations, certain changes which can be selected based on the need, based on the desired trait. Then resistance to weedicides or disease resistance is made so that we can have the desired disease tolerance or insect tolerance characteristic trait in the plants. So plant tissue culture is actually a fast way out so that we can achieve the plants with desired character traits.